Chapter 4, Secrets Unveiled. The night after their victorious ritual, the group lay under the stars in the cozy confines of the town's small inn. The oppressive atmosphere that had gripped them was replaced by a tranquil calm. The events of the past few days had taken their toll, but the promise of a fresh start buoyed their spirits. However, the sense of normalcy was short-lived. The shadow of the forest and its mysteries still loomed over them, and they knew their journey was far from over. Morning came with the chirping of birds, and the warm light of the sun streaming through the windows of the inn. Zephyr, ever the early riser, was the first to wake. He stretched and looked out the window, his gaze resting on the distant forest. There was something about the forest that beckoned him, a silent challenge that had yet to be fully understood. He made his way downstairs, where Mrs. Peterson had prepared a hearty breakfast for them. The aroma of fresh bread, bacon, and eggs filled the room, a welcome comfort after the intense experiences of the past days. As the rest of the group gathered around the table, they exchanged tired smiles and stories of their dreams. "I've been thinking," Zephyr began, "about what Mrs. Hawkins said. We know the curse was broken, but she mentioned other dark forces and spirits in the forest. I think we need to find out more about these forces. It's clear that the forest has more to reveal." Orion, who had been perusing through some old books Mrs. Peterson had lent them, nodded in agreement. "I found several references to other ancient entities and artifacts related to the forest's history. There are patterns and recurring symbols that might indicate hidden dangers or mysteries." Holly, sipping her coffee, "You're not suggesting we go back into that creepy forest, are you? I mean, I'm all for adventure, but we've just escaped a pretty terrifying experience." Syrah, who had been quiet since breakfast, spoke up. "If there are more dark forces or secrets, we need to know about them. It's our responsibility, especially after what we've been through. We have to be prepared." Thad, who had been unusually silent, finally broke his silence. "We can't ignore the possibility that there's more to uncover, but we should be strategic about it. We need to gather as much information as possible and be prepared for anything." With a renewed sense of purpose, the group set out to explore the town further. They visited the local library again, this time to seek out more specific information about the forest's dark history and any potential threats. In the library's archives, Orion and Connie pored over dusty tomes and yellowed manuscripts. They discovered records of old legends and tales of curse, artifacts that had once been hidden deep within the forest. The more they read, the more they realized how deep the forest's dark history went. "This," Orion said, holding up an ancient book with a worn cover, "is a detailed account of several dark entities that were once contained in the forest. It describes various rituals and protections that were put in place to keep these entities at bay." Holly skimmed through another document. "It looks like there were several powerful artifacts used to contain these forces. Some of them were buried or hidden, while others were destroyed. But there's mention of a final artifact, the heart of the forest, which is said to be the key to controlling all other dark entities." Syrah, who had joined them, frowned. "If this heart of the forest still exists, it could be incredibly dangerous. We need to find it before it falls into the wrong hands." As the day wore on, Mrs. Peterson provided additional information, revealing that there were local legends about hidden chambers and secret pathways within the forest. The town had once been a center of activity for those who sought to contain and protect against dark forces, but much of that knowledge had been lost over time. By late afternoon, the group gathered to discuss their findings and plan their next move. They decided that their immediate goal should be to locate and investigate any hidden chambers or artifacts that might still be within the forest. They would need to be cautious, given the forest's history of powerful and dangerous entities. As evening approached, the group prepared for their journey back into the forest. They packed supplies, including the ingredients from Mrs. Hawkins' ritual, which might prove useful. The forest was still shrouded in mystery, and they needed to be prepared for any eventuality. Under the cover of dusk, they ventured into the forest once more. the shadows of the trees casting long, airy shapes on the ground. The forest was quiet, but the sense of foreboding that had been there before seemed to have returned, though now it was tempered with a sense of determination. Their path led them deeper into the forest, and soon they arrived at the entrance to an old, abandoned cabin, one that had been mentioned in the documents they had reviewed. The cabin looked much like the one they had found before, but its condition was even more dilapidated, with overgrown vines and a sagging roof. "Looks like we're on the right track," Zephyr said, his voice echoing slightly in the stillness. "Let's see what we can find inside." They cautiously entered the cabin, their footsteps echoing in the empty space. The interior was filled with dust and cobwebs, the remnants of old furniture scattered about. In one corner, they discovered a hidden compartment beneath a loose floorboard. Inside were several old scrolls and a small chest covered in intricate symbols. Orion carefully opened the chest, revealing a collection of artifacts and scrolls. Among them was a small, ornate box with a lock and a collection of strange, ancient keys. "This looks promising," Orion said, examining the box. "It might contain something important." With the keys in hand, they managed to open the box, revealing a series of ancient scrolls and a strange, crystalline object. The scrolls detailed various rituals and protective measures, while the crystalline object was an elaborate representation of a heart, adorned with symbols matching those in the old books. "This must be it," Zephyr said, holding up the crystalline object. "The heart of the forest. We need to study this further to understand its significance and how to use it." The group spent hours examining the artifacts and scrolls. Piecing together the information they had gathered, they discovered that the heart of the forest was indeed a powerful artifact, capable of controlling or neutralizing other dark forces within the forest. However, using it required precise knowledge of the ancient rituals and a strong understanding of the forest's magic. As the night deepened, they realized they would need more time to decipher the scrolls and understand the full implications of their findings. They decided to return to town for a few hours of rest before continuing their investigation. Back at the inn, they shared their discoveries, the knowledge they had uncovered about the forest and its dark history provided new insight into the challenges they faced. The heart of the forest was both a powerful tool and a potential threat, and they needed to handle it with great care. As they prepared for another day of exploration and research, they knew that their journey was far from over. The secrets of the forest were vast and complex, and their mission to uncover and contain the remaining dark forces would require all their strength and unity. With their resolve strengthened and their purpose clear, they embraced the challenges ahead, ready to confront whatever mysteries the forest still held. Their adventure was only beginning, and the heart of the forest awaited its true purpose to be revealed. Morning arrived, bringing a renewed sense of purpose to the group. They had spent the night in the inn, their rest fitful as they wrestled with the implications of the artifacts they had discovered. The heart of the forest was a powerful artifact, and its secrets needed to be fully understood before they could proceed. As the sun rose, the group gathered around a table in the inn's common room. The scrolls and artifacts spread out before them. Zephyr, Orion, and Kali were absorbed in deciphering the ancient texts, while Sira and Thad prepared supplies for their next expedition into the forest. "We need to figure out exactly how the heart of the forest works," Zephyr said, his brow furrowed in anticipation. "From what we've learned, it seems to be a key to controlling other dark forces, but we need more details on how to activate it and what kind of rituals are required." Orion nodded, flipping through a particularly worn manuscript. The scrolls describe various rituals and protective measures. There are references to different phases of the moon, specific times of day, and even the alignment of certain celestial bodies. It's clear that this artifact is tied to complex magical systems. Kali, who had been studying a map of the forest, looked up. There is also a mention of a hidden sanctuary deep within the forest. It's supposed to be a place where powerful artifacts are kept safe. If we can find this sanctuary, it might hold more clues about the heart of the forest and how to use it. Thad, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. Finding the sanctuary could be crucial, but it sounds like it's well hidden. Do we have any leads on its location? According to the scrolls, Orion said, the sanctuary is hidden behind a series of magical barriers and illusions. It's protected by ancient enchantments that require specific knowledge to bypass. There are clues scattered throughout the forest, leading to the sanctuary, but they're not easy to find. Syrah, who had been examining the artifacts closely, added, the crystalline object we found could be a key to unlocking some of these barriers. The symbols on it match some of the protective spells mentioned in the scrolls. We might need to perform a ritual to activate it. With a plan taking shape, the group decided to return to the forest. Equipped with the scrolls, artifacts, and supplies they had gathered, they needed to explore the forest's depths to find the hidden sanctuary and uncover more about the heart of the forest. As they ventured back into the forest, the atmosphere was noticeably different from their previous excursions. The darkness that had once seemed oppressive now felt more like a challenge to be met. They moved with a sense of purpose, their path illuminated by the soft light of the sun filtering through the dense canopy. They reached the area where they had previously discovered the old cabin. The forest seemed to hold its breath as they approached, the silence broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant call of birds. The group carefully examined their surroundings, searching for any signs or clues that might lead them to the hidden sanctuary. After hours of searching and following the clues from the scrolls, they arrived at a clearing. In the center stood a massive ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches stretching skyward. The tree's trunk was covered in intricate carvings, some of which seemed to match the symbols on the heart of the forest. This must be it, Zephyr said, his voice filled with awe. The carvings matched the ones from the scrolls. We're close. Orion examined the carvings closely. There are patterns here that suggest we might need to activate the carvings in a specific order to reveal the sanctuary. With the help of the scrolls and the clues they had gathered, they began to decipher the sequence. Each symbol required a specific action, a touch, a phrase, or a ritual gesture. As they worked through the sequence, the air around them seemed to shimmer with a subtle, magical energy. Suddenly, the ground beneath the oak tree began to tremble. The carvings on the tree glowed with a soft glow, and a hidden entrance slowly emerged from the base of the trunk. A staircase, carved into the earth, descended into darkness. The group exchanged excited glances. This is it, Holly said, her voice filled with a mix of fear and excitement. The hidden sanctuary. They descended the staircase, their path lit by the glow of the artifacts they carried. The air grew cooler as they moved deeper underground, and the tunnel walls were lined with ancient runes and symbols. At the bottom of the staircase, they entered a vast underground chamber. The chamber was filled with shelves lined with ancient books, scrolls, and artifacts. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, on which rested an ornate box adorned with intricate carvings. This must be where the most powerful artifacts are kept, Zephyr said, his voice echoing in the chamber. We need to examine everything carefully. Orion and Kali immediately set to work, exploring the various artifacts and scrolls. The room was filled with a palpable sense of ancient magic, and the group felt both awed and apprehensive as they uncovered more details about the hidden sanctuary. Among the artifacts, they found a detailed map of the forest, showing hidden locations and magical barriers. The map indicated the locations of other powerful artifacts and potential threats. It also included a section dedicated to the heart of the forest, providing instructions on how to harness its power safely. As they studied the map, Syrah noticed a small, hidden compartment in the pedestal. Inside was an ancient tome with a cover made of an unusual material that seemed to glow faintly. The tome was bound in silver and decorated with symbols that matched those on the heart of the forest. This must be the final piece of the puzzle, Syrah said, holding up the tome. It could contain the final instructions on how to use the heart of the forest. Zephyr carefully opened the tome, revealing pages filled with complex spells and rituals. The instructions detailed how to channel the artifacts, power to protect or control dark forces, but they also warned of the consequences of misuse. "This is incredible," Orion said, his eyes wide with amazement. "With this knowledge, we can ensure that the heart of the forest is used properly. We need to be extremely careful." As they continued to explore the sanctuary, the group realized that they had only scratched the surface of the forest's secrets. The hidden chamber was a treasure trove of ancient knowledge and powerful artifacts, and they knew that their journey was far from over. With their newfound understanding of the heart of the forest and the additional artifacts and scrolls they had uncovered, the group prepared to leave the sanctuary. They knew that the forest still held many secrets and challenges, but they were now better equipped to face whatever lay ahead. As they ascended back to the surface, the forest seemed to welcome them with a renewed sense of mystery and adventure. The hidden sanctuary had provided them with valuable insights and tools, but the true test of their journey was yet to come. With their spirits lifted and their resolve strengthened, the group set out once more into the forest, ready to confront the remaining dark forces and uncover the ultimate truth behind the ancient secrets of Blackwood Forest. As the group emerged from the hidden sanctuary and ascended back to the forest floor, the sun was beginning its descent, casting long shadows through the towering trees. The forest, now illuminated by the soft, golden light of dusk, seemed less menacing than before, but a sense of anticipation hung in the air. Zephyr gathered the group to discuss their findings and plan their next steps. "We've uncovered a lot of crucial information, but there is still much to be done. The map we found points to other locations within the forest that may hold additional artifacts or secrets. We need to be strategic about our next moves." Orion nodded in agreement. "The sanctuary has given us valuable insights, including how to use the heart of the forest safely. We should focus on locating the other artifacts and understanding their roles. The map indicates several key sites, and we need to prioritize which ones to explore first." Sira, looking at the map, pointed to a location marked with a distinct symbol. "This site is marked as a sacred grove. It seems to be an important place for rituals and could be connected to the artifacts we're searching for. It might be worth investigating." Thad, who had been quietly observing, added, "The map also shows a series of protective barriers around some of these locations. We'll need to be cautious and prepared for magical defenses." With their plan in place, the group set off toward the sacred grove. The journey was uneventful for the most part, but the forest's atmosphere grew more charged with magic. As they approached their destination, the path was winding and overgrown, and it took several hours of careful navigation to reach the grove. When they arrived, they were greeted by a breathtaking sight. The sacred grove was a circular clearing surrounded by ancient, towering trees. The air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers, and the soft hum of magical energy. At the center of the grove was a large, stone altar covered in intricate carvings that matched those they had seen in the sanctuary. "This place feels different," Holly said, her voice barely above a whisper. "There's a strong sense of ancient magic here." Zephyr approached the altar, examining the carvings closely. "The symbols on this altar are similar to those on the artifacts we found. It might be another key to understanding the forest's magic." Orion, using the map and scrolls, began to compare the symbols on the altar with those they had studied. There are references in the scrolls about using specific artifacts in combination. With ritual sites like this one, we might need to perform a ritual here to unlock further secrets. As they prepared for the ritual, Sira took a moment to reflect on their journey. "We've come a long way, and we've learned so much, but we need to stay focused and keep our wits about us. There are still dangers in this forest, and we can't afford to let our guard down." The group set up the ritual components, placing the artifacts and scrolls on the altar. Orion carefully followed the instructions from the tome they had found, and Zephyr led the group in performing the ritual. The The air around them grew thick with energy, and the symbols on the altar began to glow with a soft, ethereal light. As they completed the ritual, the ground trembled slightly, and a hidden passageway opened at the base of one of the trees. The passage was narrow but seemed to descend into the depths of the forest. This passage could lead to more hidden chambers or artifacts, Zephyr said, looking at the others. We should proceed with caution. The group entered the passage, their path illuminated by the glow of their artifacts. The passageway was lined with ancient runes and symbols, and the air was cool and damp. They descended deeper into the forest steps, their footsteps echoing softly in the confined space. At the end of the passage, they emerged into a vast underground chamber. The chamber was filled with a collection of ancient relics, scrolls, and artifacts, many of which were similar to those they had seen in the sanctuary. In the center of the room was a large pedestal, on which rested a beautiful crystalline sphere. This must be another powerful artifact, Orion said, examining the sphere. It's unlike anything we've seen before. We need to study it carefully. As Zephyr approached the pedestal, he noticed an inscription engraved into the stone. The inscription was written in an ancient script, and it took some time to decipher. The inscription speaks of a powerful artifact known as the Sphere of Clarity. Zephyr translated, "It is said to enhance the bearer's ability to see through illusions and detect hidden truths." Holly's eyes widened. That could be incredibly useful. If the forest is filled with illusions and hidden dangers, this artifact could help us navigate and uncover the remaining secrets. The group carefully retrieved the Sphere of Clarity and examined it closely. It was a delicate, shimmering object, and its surface seemed to shift and change colors as they moved. They decided to take it with them, knowing it could provide valuable insights and protection. They noticed another passageway leading further into the depths. The map they had found indicated that there were additional sites to explore, and they knew that their journey was far from over. With their new artifact in hand and a renewed sense of purpose, they made their way back to the surface. The sun had set, and the forest was bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. The atmosphere was calm and serene, but the challenges ahead were still looming. As they emerged from the passageway and into the forest, they reflected on their progress. They had uncovered valuable artifacts and learned more about the forest's magic, but there were still many secrets to uncover. The hidden dangers and powerful entities that lay ahead would require all their strength, courage, and unity. Zephyr looked at the group, a determined expression on his face. We've made significant progress, but there is more work to be done. We need to continue exploring and uncovering the forest's secrets. Together, we can face whatever challenges come our way. The group nodded in agreement, their resolve strengthened by their shared experiences. As they prepared for their next expedition, they knew that the forest had many more mysteries and dangers, but they were ready to confront them. With the Sphere of Clarity and their newfound knowledge, the group set out once more into the forest, eager to continue their quest and uncover the ultimate truth behind the ancient secrets of Blackwood Forest.